So today I'm trying to talk about one topic I've been trying to cover for a very long time. I moved to the Central Valley, to Tracy to be specific. It has been 9 months, and I have talked to a lot of people. I've been around, I've been going to businesses, individuals, and I also met you in this journey like 6 or 7 months back. I first saw you, and that day I didn't get the chance to introduce myself to you. It was the graduation day of Entrepreneur Lab.
Right.
I was in Huddle in Stockton on that day.
Right.
And I saw you, I saw George, and I saw also Aman, who is here today.
Yeah.
He was graduating on that day.
Right.
Later, you came to one of the events I arranged. Thank you very much. And then I
My
got
pleasure.
then I got the opportunity to get introduced to you. So here is Barney Kramer, and in my opinion, he's one of the top people you will be able to find in the Central Valley, and working very actively with startups, with Entrepreneur Lab. I have seen you in Huddle. I have seen you here in Wildfine 209. So you were always working with these people, these companies, these startups, and you also have your ventures. Practically, you have been doing business here for a very long time. How do you rate the Central Valley compared to the Silicon Valley? Like living so close,
Right.
how do you compare these two places?
You know, I've been in the Central Valley. My grandparents came here in the 20s on it. I was born in Stockton, or born in Stockton from the time I was a child, and I watched the valley grow up, and I watched it change from an agricultural community into sort of a hybrid at this point in time, and we're still trying to figure out how to effectively embrace the technology world. But I also remember when San Jose was very much like Stockton. It was a smaller farming community. It was bigger than Stockton, but surprisingly not as much as you might imagine. And it went from that to the Silicon Valley, which was the heart of the entire technology world. And I saw a lot of those farms become nice buildings, and one of them's a football stadium now, and it's a very different community, and it used to know downtown.
We were talking about this yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking about how much you can lose when you are doing this kind of a commute, and it's very hard to actually calculate the total cost it takes on you. So we are not talking only about like the car or the fuel or the depreciation you got on the car. It's also the toll it's taking on your health.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
the toll it's taking on your family.
Family. You don't get to watch your kids play soccer. You're not there for the homework assignments. If you are, it's 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night, and your spouse or one or both of you have to find some way to squeeze that in. It's just, you really don't have much of a life on it. And I hear the knock that, and it's a fairly common one, that we don't have the educated workforce like the Bay Area does. But as somebody who's been here all my life, and they'll throw numbers out, 13, 14, 15%, but if you were to take just that percentage of San Joaquin County, and San Joaquin County's got about 900,000 people, and that's about 130,000 people in our county that have the kind of education that you need to have to be able to work in the technology industry. And not to mention the fact that we now have people that work over there, whether they wanted to live here or not, they can no longer afford to live in the Bay Area. So one of the most intelligent things as a business person I think you could ever do.
A few important points to really inject into this conversation. So I think tech giants, they're promoting remote working for a very long time now. So when we talk about remote working, they have two major classifications, I think. So your remote team could be very far as let's say India or Sri Lanka or somewhere there, Singapore. Also, your remote workers are they could be living very, very close to your office, but they are working from home. That procedure is being promoted a lot.
Yeah, right.
So what I want to know about, like your views about a lot of these people you're talking about, and a few of them, yeah, a few of them are very close friends of mine.
Right.
And they are commuting to the Bay Area, to their office twice or thrice a week, and the rest of the days they're working from home. So my question is, why these companies are not having some kind of establishment in the Central Valley, number one, or the other solution could be a bigger work vine. Let's say if this place was 5x the size of what it is right now. Why Central Valley is not making the transition? Because business-wise, this also makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I think like the establishment Eric has got here, it was like probably bigger, and if he was pitching to, I don't know, like 5 or 10 companies in the Bay Area, and they have their workforce living here, and I think they would be more than happy to actually rent a big part of this area where their employees could work remote for a certain amount of days in the week, and definitely go there, I don't know, maybe once a week or something like that.
Well, I think you're right. I think you're spot on, and I can tell you we are fully prepared to accommodate the need as it begins to grow. We also know that this is about change, and change does not come easy for people on it. And there's a third element. For a company to be able to allow their people to work remotely, they also have to be prepared to be able to manage the production of those people. And I think as an old timer, if you will, that was one of my reservations about co-working space in general before I got involved in the work line with Eric and Linda. What a great bunch of, probably the nicest clients I've ever had in my life to work with.
At this point, I want to get into the most important question of this whole discussion we are having. So why are not more people from the Central Valley getting into tech startups or getting into tech business or trying to do something the Silicon Valley? The reason I ask this, because people from all around the world who wants to make a mark in the tech industry, even wants to create a relatively light kind of website, but their dreams are big that this website could be a very, very successful business. They dream about coming to the Silicon Valley and establish or transfer their company to the Silicon Valley and go on from there. I moved to Tracy because the number one bargain I got for that was I could drive to San Francisco or the Bay Area under 1 hour if I'm choosing my commute time wisely. And since I don't have a 9-to-5 job, executive duty in a certain location, I can do that from anywhere in the world. Well, that's a fortunate situation to be in, and I'm thankful for that. But I was here because I wanted that liberty, so that I can go there any day I want and just sort of like avoid the traffic and pick the off-peak hours. So why people from this area is not taking that opportunity? Why don't I see like too many people?
Well, I think that's a good question on it. You know, there's an old adage, and it's just a business philosophy that we talk about early adopters on it. Guys like yourself are an early adopter, and I've had to transition myself from purely bricks and mortar to technology. There's always got to be somebody that's first, and yet what that happens to be is a golden opportunity, because what's going to happen with it? There was a first. You know, Apple was the first one that did what they did. You know, why didn't they do that sooner? Well, they didn't know how to do it. They didn't know what the opportunity was on it. So,
definitely. All right, Barney, thank you so much.
Hey,
and I just hope that this discussion will be able to inspire at least one kid out of this area to really venture a startup or something like that.
And let me make you know, anybody that's listening to this, I would love to talk to you about the whole conversation we had. That's how we open up the door, and I'm sure you would too. So,
definitely.
Yeah. So. All right, thank you. Hey,
thank you so much.
Appreciate your taking the time to chat with me.
No, thank you.